this with you. They break open your house one time, they rape your mother, they rape your father, they rape your brother, they rape your sister, they rape your auntie, they rape your auntie, they rob you of all your jewels, they take your car if you have a license firearm, they take your firearm and they go on with that. And those that are supposed to vote for this bill, for the next year, you all are pleased and it's okay with that. What are they smoking? You cannot come and tell Saieed, well, hear this now. Saieed, mass mandatory, here we go. It come to an end. And then you come and tell me, here we go on side. If you go to the supermarket, the grocery, or the malls, you have to wear your mask. Saieed, if you go to a pharmacy, you have to wear your mask. Saieed, if you're traveling, you have to wear your mask. If you're in the transportation hub, you have to wear your mask. If you're going to church side, you have to wear your mask. If you're in the school side, you're wearing your mask. If you go to a barber salon, you go to the theater, you're wearing your mask. Which dum-dum in Trinidad and Tobago will go in a theater and buy a popcorn and a juice and sit down and wear a mask? Thanks! If every councillor go through their constituency, do video clips like this and send it for us, I'm gonna be so happy just to play it on our program on a Wednesday night. You know why I would be happy? I will be filled with joy in my heart. You know why? Because the councillor is getting off their butts and they are actually going and doing some live video shoots. Real Talk took the initiative to find out suppliers of wheat in the world that National Flour Mill could go to. So now Romano is saying the company is not going to raise any price in the near future. Why? Why? Is it because the S-boss and they realize now that, hey, it is in the public domain that we could go right Mexico and buy flour and wheat? We could go right China and buy wheat? I am about change. And thus far, Real Talk is very effective in Trinidad and Tobago, coming towards making changes for the citizens. Public Utility Minister Marvin Gonzalez have urged the population to appreciate and be grateful for the availability of the utilities. This, as Gonzalez recalled, time in his life when he had to fetch water using a bucket from a nearby river. Gonzalez, I want you to understand something. I want you, Mr. Gonzalez, to understand something. You are being paid thousands of dollars by public utility, by the finance ministry, to govern WASA. Come on. To govern WASA, I want you to understand that you ain't going in no office for no free code. You are being paid. Do not tell me that I, Saieed, have to be grateful for the water I get it. Let me tell you something, Gonzalez. Every 4 months, I have to pay $400 and I get water once a bloody month. So don't come on a media briefing and say, Saieed, you have to be contented. You have to be happy. Marvin, the next best thing for you to do is to resign and get the hell out of here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Real Talk with Saieed Ali. I am your host, Saeed. We do want to thank you for joining us tonight, viewers. It's the beginning of a new week in Trinidad and Tobago, and we at Real Talk wish you a successful start in the new week. So, viewers, as we start up our program tonight, we are just reminding you that Real Talk have its investment going on. It's 4% on fixed deposits. You can get your interest up front, viewers. Also remember, I'm a spiritual consultant. Those of you who are interested in seeing me, you can contact our office. Our phone lines will be up on screen shortly. For those of you who want to join our credit union, be members of the credit union, buy shares, open savings account, set up accounts for your kids, the family, you can contact our office, set up an appointment, viewers. We are located at number 14 Carolina Savannah Road in Shogunas. And very soon we're going to be in the south area for the south people. So remember that, viewers. Contact our office, set up an appointment. Also, Real Talk, when we go live on Synergy Television from 7 to 8 p.m., we are also live on Facebook. Real Talk with Saieed Ali live on Facebook. Just like and share our page. Also on YouTube, it's TT Real Talk. Subscribe, hit the bell, and you will know when we go live, viewers. So kindly do that for us. The #1 current affairs program in Trinidad and Tobago. So as we start up our program tonight, Chairman of the Princeton Regional Corporation, Gauri Rupnarayan, is calling on the authorities to adequately equip the Insect Vector Control Division. He says there are several active cases of dengue in his corporation. He praised the effort of Health Control Officer 3, Alison Rampasad, but says she cannot do it alone. He says her unit is understaffed. He's also complaining the corporation is stifling for fund. Imagine that, stifling for funds. The Princeton Regional Corporation is a big corporation and they are stifling for funds. Now, as such, we are unable to assist the Insector Vector Division and previously done through the provision of vehicles, manpower, and equipment in eradicating the infestation of mosquito within the region. Now, Trinidad and Tobago, we have 1 or 2 cases of dengue in Trinidad and Tobago. Well, in Trinidad. And the health sector, the corporation needs, the corporation needs, the Vector Division needs to go out into communities. You know, they used to have a van passing, spraying, or smoking up the community. It's to kill the insect, the mosquitoes. So later on our program tonight, we have a picture of mosquito almost want to pick up a van. But nevertheless, I will show you that later on. We're just trying to fix the picture to show you. But when I show you that, I'm going to refer back to the corporation in tonight's program and how they really need the manpower and chemical funding to eradicate dengue in Trinidad and Tobago. But we'll go back to that story. Moving along. While the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association is welcoming phase 1 of the education, the Ministry School Supplies and Book Grant Distribution, the unit or the union president says he hopes the most in need will benefit. Education Minister Nian Gaspidoli revealed that the ministry will begin notifying persons from today that the application have been successful. She said, this will continue until July 15th. Unsuccessful applicant will also be notified. The ministry stated that all successful applicants
will be appraised of relevant information for the next step, which would be payment of grant directly into the bank accounts provided or by checks. The $1,000 grant, which was offered to household with an income of less than $10,000 or less, will assist parents with expense for school items. Tutor President Martin Lumpkin said, Tutor will welcome any initiative that would assist the students who are in need to have an opportunity to be presented at school, and also to have a resource that will aid in their education. So viewers, we just want to thank the ministry for coming out and making such a huge contribution. You know, they're stingy with funds. Yeah, the ministry is stingy with funds. I would say that on national television. They're stingy with funds. But nevertheless, moving along. Drug offenders, rape accused, and domestic violence perpetrators may be among legal gun holders, said Prime Minister, who expressed his displeasure over the findings of report into the issuance of firearm users license and variations of firearm import permit. Dr. Rowley shared several real examples, as he said, of the troubling allegations of rampant corruption, including holders being allowed to import or access unusually large caches under the leadership of the former top cop Gary Griffith. He assured that the police and the National Security Council are making considerable efforts to rectify this state of affairs and hold the relevant people accountable. By example, Rowley said the general manager of a store was charged with having drugs in 2012 and was granted an FUL in 2020. He added that the then commissioner would have granted more FUL than several police commissioners combined over the years. Abnormalities found in an investigation by Police Commissioner Erla Haywood Christopher of the license regime in 2016 to 2021. Rowley said about 7,000 licenses were issued from August 18 to September 2020. Some applicants of the grant for provisional permit, which is a document to the FUL, were not properly or entirely completed. Listen.
The current Commissioner of Police, Haywood Christopher, initiated an investigation of the firearms licensing regime for the period 2016 to 2021. This investigation was conducted by reviewing large numbers of firearm users' files and listed firearms dealers, together with major books and registers at the firearms section, as well as interviews with several individuals. In respect of FULs, certain anomalies were observed. Among them were approximately 7,000 licenses were issued given the relatively short period August 2018 to September 21. In that short period, Madam Speaker, the Commissioner would have granted more FULs than several police commissioners combined over the years. Also observe, Madam Speaker, some applications for the grant of provisional permits which is a precursor document to the FUL, were not properly or entirely completed. Several applications for provisional permits were unsigned by the applicants, and yet they were approved. Licensed firearm dealers were dropping several incomplete applications to the firearm section on behalf of their clients. Evidence was seen where files in which divisional heads did not recommend the grant of FUL, yet they were approved. Several FULs which were approved were without a requisite certificate of character, a required document.
Now, Trinidad and Tobago, the PM added that there were evidence that files which divisional heads did not recommend were approved. He also recalled a first investigation that was done by a retired ACP Barrington and retired Chief of Defense Staff Admiral Dean. That was the first investigation by those. Paula, good night.
Good night, Saeed, and to all your listeners. Excellent topic. Let me judge your memory, if you could recall your memory. A couple of years ago, about 5-6 years ago, there was an issue in Komoto. You remember it had 2 children. The kids of a former Attorney General was being trained to use automatic weapons.
Correct.
5 years later, they would have reached the age to get FULs. So seeing the real vaccine virulent want to give his friend, the contractor, and carry FULs for him. Because everybody had to remember, Gigi, a fellow by the name of Gigi, was good friend with that fella they call tight pants or something like that. I want to know if those children, the boy and the girl, were given FUL, because the man says 7,000 given. I want to know, he had to tell me if those 2 children who are the kids, well, he can't tell us who, if it's his children yet, but we assuming it's his children, if they were given FULs. And who gave them FULs? If it was Jacob, if it was Erla, if it was Stephen William, or if it was Gigi. I'll go and have a nice night.
I understand what they're saying. Fair is fair. Were they also part of the 7,000? We don't know, but they are unanswered questions. Since the Prime Minister wants to talk a lot, there are unanswered questions of those 2 individuals. Nobody not saying anything about those. Nevertheless, it's out in the public domain now. Are they part of the 7,000? One way to find out, the Prime Minister had to bring some sort of evidence to the table now. But as we continue, the Craig report, July 2022, was done by a team of 4 retired senior officers, and the 3rd inquiry was done by retired Justice of Appeal Stanley John, who was appointed by the Police Service Commission. Rowley recalled that when he announced his intention of laying the Craig report in Parliament, Griffith took the matter to court, asking the court to stop the government from doing so. Listen to this.
It was my stated intention, Madam Speaker, to lay the Craig report, the one done by the retired police officers, supported by serving police officers, in the Parliament for the attention and greater interrogation by members of the relevant parliamentary committee. It should be noted, Madam Speaker, that the Honourable Attorney General had offered this report to the Commissioner for his response. The moment I announced my intention to do so, Madam Speaker, the former Commissioner of Police, one Gary Griffith, took the matter to court, asking the court to stop the government from laying the Craig report in Parliament for the attention of Parliament and for public knowledge and scrutiny. Madam Speaker, like retired Justice of Appeal Stanley John, I consider that the contents of his report, as raised, was not only troubling, but it pointed to serious allegations of corruption but also serious matters of national security.
The viewers, Rowley noted that the Barrington report found that many police were involved in a lucrative business side of acquiring and training civilians. Training civilian, as the caller just said, 2 individuals in an army camp, high-powered weapons. He said persons confirmed were paying dealers for service in the award of FULs. Listen to this now.
It found that several members of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service were involved in the lucrative business side of the acquisition and training of civilians. And this introduced several risks, including the manipulation of the process for personal gain, as well as serious matters of conflict of interest. Some citizens, Madam Speaker, confirmed paying firearms dealers for services in the award of FULs, firearm users licenses. Madam Speaker, the Barrington Pritchard team found that as a practice, certain members of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service and some firearms dealers were charging large sums of money for successful application for FULs. Several persons interviewed confirmed this.
Now viewers, some licensed dealers were approved to import large numbers of high-capacity drum magazines with a capacity of 100 rounds of ammunition. In some cases, he said, the entire families were granted variations. There are some families with 25 weapons, and in one particular case, 33 weapons in a household. A total number of permits granted from 2016 to 2021 was 739, whereas the total granted from August 18, 2018 to September 6, 2021 was 574. Now, I'll say this, does the Commissioner of Police in Trinidad and Tobago care about businessmen and the protection for businessmen? I'm asking Earl this question. Is Earl Haywood Christopher the Commissioner of Police for Trinidad and Tobago? They want to fight crime. Trinidad and Tobago Police Service wants to fight crime. The Ministry of National Security wants a quick answer to crime. The head of the Security Council for Trinidad and Tobago wants to fix crime. But the thing is, when you only have police officers carrying licensed firearm, police officers working from 8 to 4, 8-hour job, 12-hour job. When a businessman home is being robbed, where is the police officer? In the station. When a businessman's business is being robbed during the day, where is the police officer? In the station or running some errand? Does the businessman have any 24-hour protection? No. He do not have a firearm. The first thing the Commissioner of Police would say is that he's a businessman, he making money, he can pay for security. That is the first thing come to their head. He's a businessman, yes, but you could pay for security, you don't need a gun. But police officers could get guns to carry home, correct? Correct? My tax-paying money paying the police. But who is protecting me now while I lay on my bed to sleep? You have to make if you hear noise around your building and you see someone inside your compound, you have to call the station, which never have a vehicle to attend. And that is the mentality thinking of the Commissioner of Police. I am not blaming TTPS for not having a vehicle. I am not blaming TTPS for not enough resources. But I'm trying to let Erla Haywood Christopher understand that a businessman, once firearm is granted to them, they are first responders in a crime. First responder. Where's Erla? Where's CTP? Nowhere to be found. And this is the problem we have. National Security Minister, the head of the Security Council, together with the Commissioner of Police, all three of them would say businessmen have money they could pay for security. But who is paying for the security that the Commissioner of Police have? Who is paying for the security that the Minister of National Security have? Who is paying for the security that the head of the Security Council has? Who is paying for that? The businessman tax money paying for that. And when they're going to tell them the truth, they're more ignorant than you. Ministers have tax exemption, so they're not contributing no taxes to the states. Absolutely none. But raping the treasury. That is what they do. That is what they do. Are they contributing the tax? No. Exemption from vehicle, exemption from flying, exemptions in hotel. Are they paying for it? No, they're not paying for it. Who is paying for it? The law-abiding citizens of Trinidad and Tobago is paying for it. Not one single minister. Out of 41 ministers in the cabinet, on the PNM, on the UNC, none of them paying taxes. But you know what they're quick to do? They're quick to yap the tongue in the mouth. They're quick to yap them out. They're quick to say, what are you contributing? I contributing taxes. What are you contributing as a minister? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. They're like a banner hunting dogs. When you lego them in the forest, the first animal pass, they're grabbing it. I would tell them that on national television. They're like a banner hunting dogs. Hunting everything, but contributing nothing. Who vex laws in all the business? I just tell you all the truth. If you don't like it, change your station. Go and hear some lie on some other station. So we are going for a short commercial break, viewers, but when we come back, we're going to hear what Gary have to say, the former commissioner of police, after this.
Become a member of Real Talk Credit Union, now located at number 14 Coroni Savannah Road, Chagonas. Open a fixed deposit with Real Talk Investments and get 4% on interest with interest payment being paid up front. Get in contact with us at 238-6716, 231-6219 or 339-1670. Real Talk Credit Union, Cooperative Society Limited. Plant a seed today for a better tomorrow.
Tired of wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan, only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Realtor Group of Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saieed, Managing Director of Realtor Group of Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Coroni Savannah Road, Chagonas or number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
When life throws you a curveball and you need a clear path forward, Trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on the roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery. At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the blaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real Public Concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
For a new 4%, Real Talk Finance and Investment is 4% on fixed deposit with your interest upfront, viewers. Remember that this is just for you, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. You'll be wondering, why are we doing this? This is to make sure that you inherit the best of your investment. The best of it. Call it good night.
How are you going? Pray me, how are you?
My friend, how are you?
Everything all right, brother. But what we could do again, but we just have to pray and beg the Lord up there, boy. Because these fellas, them C9, now they get too old, so they can't run country anything again. So they can do people what they want.
All right.
God bless you, brother. Take care.
Thank you, my friend. Former Police Commissioner Gary Griffith have stated that as Commissioner of Police, he gave out approximately 6,000 firearm users license out of 25,000 plus applicants or applications made for over 10 to 20 years, which he claimed were being ignored by previous commissioner. We have the video clip where Ola said 100 firearm was granted out of 25,000 applications. Trinidad and Tobago. We're looking for the video. Hold on, you're going to hear it. You're going to hear it. Gary said it. He gave out 6,000 firearms. And between 25,000 applications were ignored over the last 10 to 20 years. Listen to this video.
Now, over 3,000 citizens of this country have been killed by firearms in the last decade under your leadership, Keith Rowley, and less than 5 by legal firearms. Yet your major concern in Parliament is about legal firearms and not the 99.9% of murders committed with the use of firearms being illegal firearms. It seems that this man has a hatred for law-abiding citizens getting legal firearms and showing sympathy for criminal elements. And to be clear, I gave out just about 6,000 odd firearms from the 25,000 plus applications made by citizens over the last 10, 20 years that were being ignored by previous commissioners of police. Half of these were given to citizens, whilst the other half were to past and present members of the protective services. This means that I gave out just 0.3% of the population got firearms from myself, which negates any popular lie of Rowley's PNM, which is that FULs were being given out to everyone. His obsession is stopping law-abiding citizens from getting legal firearms. He cannot name the people who broke the law. He cannot name the firearm dealers who broke the law. He cannot name the firearm holders who broke the law. Because if all these allegations are true, why hasn't one person been charged in 4 years for any such allegation, except for an individual who was arrested based on being virtually kidnapped in Barbados through to a minister in your government giving the directive to the police?
That is what you call an answer back. Griffith issues the response after the PM related the findings of a TTPS audit which revealed serious findings concerning FUL issuance as well as permits for ammunition to be imported and related issues, particularly over the 2018 to 2021 period where Griffith served as commissioner then. Griffith noted that his words, allegation, is a word used by Rowley PNM that really mean lies with no evidence. Listen.
This word, allegations, this is a word used by Rowley's PNM that really means lies with no evidence. Keith Rowley, yet again today, decides to use Parliament to fool the country based on his obsession with legal firearms. His dangerous infatuation continues to overshadow the real issue of illegal firearms, which have been responsible for the vast majority of murders in Trinidad and Tobago, two of which, reports suggest, occurred just today in the same area of the Prime Minister's residence. How can he be so concerned about too many legal firearms being given to civilians, yet he harassed me when I was commissioner to get a dealership for somebody in Tobago so that thousands of more firearms could be sold? This contradiction in his action needs to be addressed.
Now, Trinidad and Tobago, Gary, he said, the court injunction Rowley preventing the release of the report on FULs done by the team of police, the Raymond Craig report. Since those who did the report never contacted him, and naturally justice didn't occur. Griffith claimed for answers on the audit report, which the PM revealed, if this was the report which the court blocked, have you now breached that High Court order? Listen to this.
Moreover, Rowley's statements regarding the audit report are highly questionable. The reason the court agreed to the injunction is that those who compiled the report never contacted me. It is something known Keith Rowley as natural justice. You can't hire people, pay them big money, let them write a report to smear someone's character, and not allow the person to defend himself against the lies in the initial report. That is why the injunction was put in place. I would have never sought an injunction if he was not a coward and was willing to state it outside of Parliament, because Parliament is the one place you can lie and not be sued. He owes the country an explanation as a person who holds public office and must adhere to the Constitution. Where did you, Keith Rowley, get this so-called report from? You stated it was from two other reports. If this was the audit report that the High Court blocked, have you now breached the High Court order? If it was from any other report, it should indeed be made public so that those accused can take action if required.
Listen to this video clip that where the present Commissioner of Police is saying 100 firearm users licenses were issued out of 25,000. Listen.
In terms of FUL, the licenses, applications are being approved. As I did indicate on my last appearance, the investigations is a bit more robust. However, over the last year, I would have issued just over 100 FUL. We have an average of 25,000 applications.
25,000 applications.
Yes.
What is creating that bottleneck and then to only filter? No, I'm just asking, what is it? Is it that most of the applicants disqualified?
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly. Not everyone will qualify that because there is a criteria for owning a firearm.
Okay.
What did Gary said? Gary said he issued almost 6,000 applicants, 6,000 firearms out of 25,000 applications being made within the last 10 to 20. All you hear that? All you hear it for yourself? The commissioner met 1 year in office. 1 year in office, 25,000 application. Now, hey, all I think is joke. Commissioner of Police expects businessmen to pay for security, while businessmen is paying taxes so that Erla could enjoy. So the Prime Minister could enjoy. So the Minister of National Security, he also will enjoy. Are they contributing to tax? No, they are not. They are not. So when the ministers start to bump their gum, my duty is to put them in their place. You know why? They are a citizen just like Saieed of the same Trinidad and Tobago. Of the same Trinidad and Tobago. We put them there. They offer themselves to be minister, to serve the people. And when they reach up there now, you got a crown on your head and you use king all of a sudden. You care for the people who put you there. Really? It don't work like that with me. I will put you on a spot. Let the whole of the world understand what you're doing. So who is it benefiting, me or you? Do what you have to do, and I will give you the praises that you deserve. Turn a blind eye to the people, and trust me, when I done with you, you wish you'd never turn a blind eye. Hey, watch me now. You have some ministers. They don't care, you know. They don't care. You want to blame illegal firearm in the hands of the citizen. What about if the citizen now had a legal weapon to kill an individual who have an illegal weapon? And that will fix the crime? And that will fix the crime? I just tell earlier. Not everybody have common sense, you know. I have book sense and common sense. You know. Book sense and common sense. But nevertheless, call a good night.
Good night.
Go right ahead.
I want to talk to Saieed Ali, but I see him talking.
You're live on the air. Go right ahead.
Live on air?
You stick. Political leader of the National Transformation Alliance, NTA, Gary Griffith, has raised concerns about the possible existence of sleeper cells in the strategic service agents. Responding to Rowley, who delivered a statement on the SSA, Griffith stated that the government removed SORT, Special Operation Response Team, which was instrumental in pegging back criminals element and replaced it with a National Operation Task Force. He said the SSA was targeted, but it still exists, and we do not know if sleeper cells are still there. Listen.
Who is to say that they are not sleeper cells in the SSA? Because I am speaking on behalf of Keith Rowley now. So you shut down SORT because of an allegation of a situation where no one was charged. But here in the SSA, you have confirmed that there is a plan to overthrow the government and an attempted coup. And you're still keeping the SSA. It again shows the double standard. So you remove SORT that was instrumental in pegging back every criminal element in this country. It was replaced by something known as the National Operation Task Force. Their biggest success in the last 2 years was arresting an old man for selling school books on the pavement. That is what we have reached to in this country, and that is fact. So you have now targeted the SSA, you have demonized them, but it still exists. And we do not know if sleeper cells are still there.
Well, good night. Griffith also claimed that the Komodo barracks was under the Special Anti-Crime Unit before being handed over to the SSA, where thousands of ammunition became the custodian for weapons that belonged to the Defense Force. He also questioned how an audit could have been done into the SSA when the person who was in charge of the SSA was never spoken to? Listen to this.
Kamuto Barracks was under the Special Anti-Crime Unit. When the PNM government took over, they handed over Kamuto Barracks to guess who? The SSA. So it was the PNM government that handed over Kamuto to the SSA. By doing that, hundreds of thousands of wrongs became the SSA became the custodian for this ammunition. SSA became the custodian for hundreds of weapons that belonged to the Defense Force and the police. So again, you try to speak about the SSA. Have you done a proper audit? How could you, in God's name, do an audit and the person who was in charge of the SSA you have not spoken to? Because I spoke to him and he said that after they came to their conclusions, he heard about this on the news. And it's the same nonsense that Keith Rowley's audit team did as it pertained to firearms. You did an audit and didn't speak to the person who is in charge of the organization. Are we that clueless?
Now, viewers, Griffith contended that the person was being demonized for attending church and claimed that out of 23 persons fired from the SSA, only 2 were involved in the church and passed polygraph test. Oh my God. Listen.
I want to bring a very important point to Trinidad and Tobago. We are now demonizing people because they go to church. That's what we have reached to in this country. It is now being seen as a crime. We are now trying to label church-going people as a Jim Jones cult. 23 persons were fired in the SSA. 2 persons were highly involved in the church. 2. And all of these persons who were fired were polygraphed and passed the exams. This shows Trinidad and Tobago that evil is indeed invading our land. That some will see God-fearing people and try to target them.
Well, good night. Now, the former cop also accused Rowley of being obsessed with him and wondered why the government was still keeping the SSA after unearthing such information. So what I want to do now, I want to ask Dr. Keith Rowley, is the SSA still up and running? If SWORD was a problem and they were solving crime under the former Commissioner of Police Administration, they disbanded that. They dismantled that. After you find one set of allegations on that sort, you decide to scrap that. Now we have the SSA. You found one set of allegations under the SSA, even the July coup. So I want to ask you now, is the SSA still up and running? After all these allegations, according to the former Commissioner of Police. Can the Prime Minister come out in public and answer that? Can the Minister of National Security answer that? Because we're talking about gathering intelligence, eh? Talking about gathering intelligence. Do you have a call? Caller, good night.
Hello, good night.
Go right ahead, you're live.
Okay, Saieed Ali?
Yes?
Okay. They want to do all the investigation. Why did they investigate Keith Rowley?
Go ahead.
Huh?
Make your point.
Why they don't investigate Keith Rowley?
Thank you, my friend. So you see Trinidad and Tobago, what good for all. And it will settle the score. Bring everything out in the open. But not everybody will be targeted. Same way. There's a term that we use in this country, different strokes for different folks. Yep. So I am still asking myself, and I'm sure after all these allegations, you will be asking yourself, why is the Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley, going after Gary Griffith in this manner? When we have a present Commissioner of Police who is sitting down collecting salaries every 30 days. When last we heard from her? What is the latest update on her plans to curb crime in Trinidad and Tobago. When last we heard from her? When last you saw her in the public domain? Is she sick? Is she working? Is she on vacation? We don't hear from her. But money is being paid to her. Is that the friend or family of the Minister of National Security? Is that the friend or family of the Prime Minister? I don't know. I'm asking questions. I'm asking questions. Because to me, she's just like Maxi Coffee. You're holding a position with no performance. And then now, the cabinet now approve. Acting Commissioner of Police, Stephen Williams, I believe, who did nothing when he was in his glory, I should say. He's the advisor to the present Commissioner of Police for 800 an hour. So bim meet bam, while the whole of Trinidad and Tobago is being raped with robbery. Bim meet bam. Understand what I'm saying? Bim didn't do nothing when he was in his tenure. You come and use the advisor now to bam. Ola Hayward Christopher, who actually come out and tell Trinidad and Tobago and also tell the Joint Select Committee that none of her plans. But we employ Bakshidi. And we take somebody now who did not for Trinidad now to be the advisor for that one now. The bim meet bam, while the whole of Trinidad and Tobago is a battlefield. But the Prime Minister say, we don't want to create here a what? Gun for all. Sad, eh? It's sad. Nevertheless, viewers, we are going for a short commercial break. When we come back, we're going to hear from the opposition leader concerning the SSA audit.
Become a member of Real Talk Credit Union, now located at number 14 Coroni Savannah Road, Chagonas. Open a fixed deposit with Real Talk Investments and get 4% on interest with interest payment being paid up front. Get in contact with us at 238-6716, 231-6219 or 339-1670. Real Talk Credit Union, Cooperative Society Limited. Plant a seed today for a better tomorrow.
Tired of wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan, only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Realtor Group of Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saieed, Managing Director of Realtor Group of Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Coroni Savannah Road, Chagonas or number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
When life throws you a curveball and you need a clear path forward, trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on a roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery. At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the glaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real Public Concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
We'll come back to your real talk view. The opposition leader says political strategists have labeled Dr. Rowley's statement in Parliament about the Strategic Service Agency, SSA finding as dead cat tactics. In a statement, Prasad Biswas has said the dead cat tactics involves a politician deliberately making a shocking announcement to divert media attention away from problems or failures in other areas of society. Well, good night.
Yes, hi, good night.
Go right ahead, my friend.
Saeed, I want to touch on two things tonight, boy, real quick.
Talk to
the first
me.
thing I want to answer is the last caller's question, right? Why nobody do investigate the Prime Minister? Who going to investigate the Prime Minister, Saeed?
Correct.
Because the Commissioner of Police is appointed by the Prime Minister and the Cabinet.
Correct.
Who she going to investigate the person that pushed it?
Nope.
Tell me if that making any sense.
You're making sense.
And to cut a long story short, Saeed, Keith Rowley lied the way into that Prime Minister's secret email gate. So anything possibility. Anything that man says, I don't believe. Because he does say one thing today and flip the story tomorrow. So I don't believe nothing he says. But what I really want to touch on tonight is this property tax with column in Birch, right?
Yes.
I listened to one of your programs where you was talking on a platform and you were saying that if a person have multiple properties and they have a very low income, how it is they can be owning all these properties? Where the money coming from? And that is the reason why he justifying this property tax. The tax people, because of the fact that a man owning multiple properties and he have a low income. Anybody ever hear the word inheritance? People know when you inherit a property, you could be working for the smallest amount of money side. If your relative work and them sacrifice and them build a property and them leave that property in your hand when them pass on, is that a crime in Trinidad and Tobago?
No.
Should you tax somebody down to the ground if a man inherits a property that he working and he cannot own by working for the salary he working for? I trying to figure out the thing because it's not making sense. One day they're telling you, if you pay the property tax, you'll be getting water, you'll be getting electricity, they go fix your road, they go clean your drain. Now they're coming and telling you it's to find the people that embezzle money and the people that hide money through properties and all kind of thing. Let me tell you something, Sai. You see the politicians in this country, they need to be investigated. You see the contractors in this country, them is the people need to be investigated. Not the people on the ground that working 8 to 4, going out there and sacrificing their time for money. People going out there, listen, these politicians going out there and they're trying to work people out to the ground with taxes. And I'm going to tell you something, they're going to backfire in your face one of these days on the side. I'm telling you all this. They're going to backfire and they think what I mean nice, eh? Anyway, side, you enjoy your night.
Thank you, my friend. Prasad Biswas, she said it was fascinating that no member of the cult referenced by him have been criminally charged for plotting the allegation coup or the alleged coup to date. She continued to criticize the PM, noting that he made allegations on the parliamentarian privilege to prevent any legal action from being taken for defamation, much like the email gate lies. Prasad Biswas stated that on July 3rd, Rowley entertained the nation with a story about religious cult operating within the SSA, where he claimed this cult had been stockpiling weapons to effect a coup and replace his government. She accused Rowley and his public relationship team of doing more than just pinning a distraction. She then referred to steel and energy. Mr. Jindal, who has been touted as a possible buyer for the mudball refinery at Point-à-Pied, while facing corruption charges in India. The opposition leader noted that the PM must stop embarrassing himself and making the Prime Minister's office a laughing stock, and instead spend his time working to improve your life. Trinidad and Tobago, let me tell you something. We are in a country, 41 MPs on the PNM side, And how much are you hearing from? Somebody call in and tell me how much you're hearing from. We hear from the Prime Minister. We hardly hear from Stuart Young. We hardly hear from Terence. In and out, we hear from Finance Minister. We hear from Fitzgerald Hines once a month, if so much. So what about the rest of MPs? Why are they there? What is the purpose of them being there? When last we heard from Amy Brown? What new discovery did Amy Brown met recently? What about other MPs? How come they are not highlighting what they are discovering or what they are doing or what Trinidad and Tobago should look forward for? What about the rest of MPs? All collecting a salary at the end of every 30 days, all being tax exempted, but we're not hearing from them. Why? Is it that their office is standstill? Is it that their office is a ghost office? Are they just a full bench in the parliament or just sit in a seat? What about the other MPs who is collecting money? We're not hearing from them. What about the independent senators? What are they taking the parliament concerning ministers? Not hearing from them at all. So all these other people in parliament collecting large salaries, being exempted from taxes, and what are they doing? What are they doing? Ask yourself, 41 MP on each team, what are the rest doing? Because we're not hearing anything from any one of them. They're not putting out a social media post. They're not printing something in the press. We're not hearing interviews with them on television, on radio. We're not hearing. And monies are being spent to pay these individuals and them. And what are they doing? What are they doing? Can they come forward into public relation with anything they are doing? Where are they? But money is being deducted from the treasury to pay salaries for them. And this is my point. So viewers, we are out of time for tonight, but nevertheless, it's a pleasure being here with you on this Monday night. Our rerun of this program is tomorrow from 11:30 to 12:30 p.m. And we'll be right back here on our next night for your live show, Real Talk with Saieed. Until we meet again,